Hi everyone and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're looking ahead to the senior and intermediate championships that get kick started this weekend, and we're looking forward to all the action. There's loads of games coming up over the next days, weeks and months, and we'll be covering them all as usual. I'm delighted to be joined by Ciaron O'Hanlon, and he's going to help me look ahead to the games. And Ciaron, we're at the house in Uri here. We know the Win with Armagh campaign, it's closing up within the next week or two, so it's an amazing house. I think this is your first time in it.
Yeah, first time in it. Lovely location, and like for 20 quid it'd be a nice wee steal, like, wouldn't it? But yeah, no, the views are class. It's convenient as well, close to the train station, and an hour either side of Dublin and Belfast, like, so it's a great house for someone to win, yeah.
And obviously the campaign, like, we've been behind it now for a good while, but it's so important because I know you've spent all your career in Callan Bridge, and like a lot of the boys, you're looking out of it.
Yeah, look, it's I suppose it's for building for the future, like, and that does take money, and that's where we are. But a lot of people are putting in a lot of work, and it's going to go to good use, and hopefully the younger generation are going to benefit from it more than what I am.
Look, we're looking ahead to the senior championship, Ciaron, and we're going into the group stages, and a bit like our junior preview last week, it's hard to look at individual games, so we'll just talk about each group and what we expect from it. And Group 1 in the senior championship is the group of death, which involves yourselves. Mm-hmm. It's Clevey, Clans, Mahary and Cullaville. So I suppose just before we come to the championship, tell us a bit about the league success. Obviously the first time in Clevey's history he's won the Division 1 league title.
Yeah, I suppose Stevie's done a really good job. He's put a good coaching team in place, and the lads have bought into it, like, and I suppose we're just looking to play with a wee bit of consistency, and like we've a lot of the games this year have come down to the wire, and maybe we rub of the green here and there and we've got over the line, so it's been a great year so far. Obviously looking to build on it, and we'll see where it takes us, and we'll just take one game at a time.
And Stevie coming in, club and county legend, Ciaron, so I'm sure we're all excited to work with him.
Yeah, I've obviously played with Stevie, he was involved with us, I can't remember what year it was, 2015 or 16, can't mind. And obviously back in now, but like the team has changed drastically from that time. A lot of young blood coming in, and that's one thing I'll say about him. He's not afraid to use the young lads, like, if you're good enough, you're old enough, sort of thing, like, so that's good to see as well. And in the games this year we've shown that we like to play an attacking brand football, and that's what he's bleeding into the team. And
obviously I'd mentioned the group of death, and I'll not make you comment too much on it, Ciaron, but
yeah, look, championship, every game's hard, and when I like this sort of group championship layout, because you win one game, you're sort of you get a playoff game at least. But with that, with topping the group, it's the same with Armagh, like, with topping the group you get that extra week of rest, so every game means something, which I like. But the whole group of death thing, look, you just take one game at a time. That's just the way to play it.
And if it's the group of death, probably Group 2 is just as tough a group. We have Cullyhanna, Madden, Mullabon and Pearse Oaks in it, so a lot of tough games coming up in that group.
I suppose, Cullyhanna will be looking to, off the back of the All-Ireland win, they'll probably be looking to put a foot down in the senior championship, probably where they belong, a lot of people would say, in the county, like, so there's some tasty games in that group as well.
Like, we have Madden, they're obviously a top seed division. They got top 4 in Division 1A. They've been in back-to-back semi-finals as well. They haven't quite got over that semi-final hurdle yet. But you see the form of Darragh McMullen this year for Armagh. Like, and I know he spent a bit of the summer in America, but he'll be home soon. So I suppose tell us a bit about Darragh and his impact to Armagh this year.
Yeah, he has. He's really matured as a person, as a player, I think, and he stepped up to the plate for Armagh. Like, he, as everyone in the county seen, he can take scores. He's a fella that likes to get on the ball deep. He can take you out of defence, and he can also, you know, give you that platform for going forward. Like, so he has all the attributes to play county football for how many number of years he wants to, you know, and he's going to be a massive plus for Madden come back in. I know he's in America and probably having a good time over there, but he's definitely going to be a massive plus for them. Like, you know, they've had a pretty consistent season too. Again, a great management team behind them and set up, so you know they'll probably fancy themselves for the championship as well.
I think Mullabon, maybe a surprise package coming into this championship, or maybe coming in a wee bit under the radar. Ciaron, I know you had a couple of titanic tussles with them in the league, and they got to the quarterfinals last year. So they're maybe a team that's just going to come under the radar here, and they're going to surprise a few teams maybe.
I think they will. They play a lovely brand of football, sort of counter-attacking style. They've fellas that can run really hard, go at you. They're very fit, they're well set up and organised. So yeah, I would agree with you. Like, I can definitely see them coming in under the radar. One of the dark horses for the championship, definitely.
And I think they've the likes of Dackie Lowy back this year. Owen McDonald's back from injury. Fergal O'Brien's in America, but again, a bit like Darren McMullen will be back at some stage. So they done so well last year to win 1B, get to the quarterfinals, but they've only added to that this year, which is key.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's, you just want to be moving up to the next level every year and building on what you've done the year previous, you know. So yeah, like the senior championships wide open, I think, anyway, and Mullabon are definitely going to think that they've got a chance for sure.
I think it is wide open, like, and that's what makes it so exciting, isn't it? That we're going to talk about 6 or 7 teams tonight that all feel they have a chance to win the championship.
Absolutely, and like, you know, in years gone by, that hasn't been the case. You know, you're obviously going to have your favourites or whatever, but there's teams below that think, well, you know, going on league form and stuff like that, or even league performances, you know, like they'll be thinking, right, we can give this a good shot if we you know, win a couple of games, build a bit of momentum. Who knows where it'll take us, you know.
And we're going to Group 3 then. We've Crossmaglen in it. In Group 3 we have Silverbridge, Grahamore and St Peters. So I suppose for Silverbridge and St Peters it's a bit of a strange one. They're coming into this campaign off the back of being relegated in the league. Obviously Silverbridge down to 1B and St Peters down to intermediate football. So I suppose it's a strange dynamic that they're trying to lift themselves heading into the championship.
Yes, like, I mean, they'll be looking, as I was saying there, you know, to bounce back, maybe build a bit of momentum and see where the year takes them. You know, like, all it takes is 1 or 2 games and that can kickstart a run, like, you know. So them teams will, you know, they'll be looking to get a quick off the mark, get a win on the board early, and just build on it then.
On Cross, we're talking about favourites and teams that can win the championship. They're usually in round the top of the favourites charts, and there's going to be no different, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they've obviously got serious firepower up front, who can hurt a lot of teams, especially with the new rules. You know, isolating the likes of Ciaron O'Hanlon 1v1, teams won't want that to happen, but the way the new rules play out, sometimes it does, and that's where the likes of Crossmaglen can really go and punish you.
And I think Grahamore sort of have a mixture of youth and experience. I know the likes of Tony McLeod's out injured, Jason O'Neill's obviously transferred out of the club too. He's down in Dublin. So I suppose Grahamore, it's a bit of an unknown identity with Grahamore, and they have Cross coming on Friday night.
And like, Grahamore are always that team that are hard to shake off whenever it comes into the, you know, latter stages of the game. If they're still in the game, you just can't get rid of them. They'll just keep coming at you, you know. So they have that profile behind them, so they'll be looking to play on that a bit. And like, you know, I suppose they're one of them teams, we've got nothing to lose here, let's give it a good crack and see where it takes us.
I think there's spots like Grahamore. I think we mention this every year in the podcast when we're doing the round robin. There's spots like Grahamore, there's spots like Mahary that just teams don't like going to because they're so hard to get a result.
Yeah.
And mentioned Clowns are in Mahary, Cross are in Grahamore. Like that's the joy of this system, that there's home and away games.
That's it too. You know, Grahamore's always a really, really difficult place to go to, and like everyone around the county knows that. So they'll be playing on that as well. They'll try and make their, you know, the Grahamore fortress, and, you know, any games they have there, they'll be trying to win them, like.
And we'll have Group 4 then. We'll have the defending champions, Clonerne. We have Armagh Harps. We have intermediate champions, Carcruppen and Drummond. So, again, I suppose looking at Clonerne, their panel depth, their quality that they have, obviously they have 5 players on the county panel as well. So, heading in, they're probably the favourites, and they look like a team that could really, go have a run at Ulster, perhaps, if they get out of Armagh.
Yeah, like their seconds are going really well, and that feeds into the whole ethos of the club. So, absolutely agree with you. Probably our favourite. I think they are the bookies' favourites, and have a really good squad there. Their bench is very strong, so you would expect them to probably top that group. But again, championship, you just don't know what's going to happen.
And their county players, I mean, the likes of Barry McCambridge, Tiernan Kelly, Conor Turbot, they're not just county players, they're some of the best players in Ireland, so that's a huge benefit for Clonerne.
Massive for them. They'll, and with that comes a wee bit of responsibility and pressure too, but them boys are well fit for that sort of thing. They've been playing at the top of the game for, many years now, so that they're all coming their stride, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what way they fare out and how they get on in that group, definitely.
And of the Harps in that group who reached the quarter-final last year, Clonerne actually just beat them by a goal, and the Harps were flying in the championship last year. They haven't had a good league campaign, they just about stayed up on the last day, but I suppose the fact that they did stay up, they got a last day win, will that, sort of lead to a bit of momentum maybe going in?
Yes, the Harps are another team where, they'll be looking to try and get a win early on the board, see can they build a bit of momentum going a run. Obviously out of that group they look like the second strongest, so they'd definitely be trying to get points on the board early. And
Carcruppen, intermediate winners coming up this year, and I suppose the first and foremost they stayed up, which was obviously key for them, but they got a top 4 place as well, so Carcruppen, they're a young side coming through, they have I don't know how many county minors in that in the last couple of years. They've been in minor finals and that over the last couple of years, so they're a team that is going to be worth watching here.
Yeah, absolutely. Littered with young players, so plenty of pace, fitness, and then they have the likes of Blaine and other fellas there that have that wee bit of experience, so they've a good mix of players through their squad, so it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Again, they'll be looking to put their foot down early in that group and try and get points on the board, and just carry it in game after game.
And the fact that they have stayed up, Ciaron, that's probably the main goal for the season, was staying up in 1B, so maybe the pressure's off a wee bit and they'll go on, they can have a real crack at these group games.
Possibly, throw the shackles off and see what happens. Every club want to put in a good performance in the championship, so I would say they'd be gearing towards trying to put in good team performances and hopefully getting on the right side of results.
And the same as Carcruppen, talking about young boys coming through, Drummond in the exact same boat. They're going to have a very talented bunch of young players coming through in the next few years. Now, whether this year's too early for them, I think some of the boys like Finn Toll have broke on and got game time in the league, but I suppose it's just about maintaining their senior status. Now, I bet like Carcruppen, now that they've done that, they can let the shackles off and see what the championship brings.
Yeah, look, it's it'll be interesting to see will they try out more of them young fellas in the championship, give them game time and see how they get on. They're going to have to come through at some point. Why not try them now? They're safe for this year, so why not try and bleed a couple of the lads in, give them that wee bit of championship experience and build on it then for next year.
When we come to the intermediate championship, which we're going to now, I'll ask you who you think's going to win it, but I'll not do that with the senior, because it'd obviously be unfair. But it's going to be such an exciting campaign, and as I say, usually we're going to cover it all across. We'll have match reports and previews all coming up of all the senior championship games, so make sure to check us out on all our social media pages. Intermediate then, again, we'll just go through the groups. Group 1, we have Katy, Whitecross, Farkhill and College Land. And I suppose, again, like one of the groups we had in the senior, we have 2 relegated teams. Whitecross were relegated down to 2B and College Land were relegated to Division 3A. So, again, it's hard to know what the mindset is coming into the championship, because they've had, difficult years.
Yeah, like looking at the intermediate championship, similar to the senior, there's a lot of teams in there would fancy themselves for it. And Katy are probably in and around that sort of bracket, like so. It's like that. Their group is it'll be a tough one. Like Whitecross are always hard to play against, especially in Whitecross. And then Forkhill, I know they were 2B this year, so they'll be looking to try and put in a couple of good performances and go on a bit of a run as well in the intermediate championship.
And the fact Farkhill, they won Division 3A last year. They're probably disappointed they didn't win the junior championship and come up as championship winners. But another promotion, they're up into Division 2A next year. And obviously, they were a senior team, not really that long ago, maybe.
Remember when we played them?
Yeah,
so
they've loads of experience. They have young fellas coming through too. So Farkhill, everything looks good for Farkhill.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, similar to Katy, they're probably a team that were maybe sitting there going, let's throw the shackles off here and give this a good rattle and see what the year brings us, so and like they have the likes of Stephen Sheridan and Jamar and them boys to rely on as well, big leaders for Armagh too, so they've a decent enough side there. Just be interesting to see how they get on.
And with Stephen Sheridan retiring, I think this is his second year out from playing with Armagh. So the fact that he's been there training with Farkhill, playing the matches, like his presence all year round has maybe benefited them.
Yeah, like he's without a doubt going to be a leader in that group. And by Stephen's standards, he'll be pushing them younger lads on and that group on. So. I'd say they're probably going to be in a really good position coming into the championship.
And Group 2 then, we have Tullysaran Division 2A league winners, Ciaron O'Hanlon's, Wolf Tones and Clonard seconds. And we were speaking earlier about Clevey winning the Division 1A for the first time ever. Ciaron Tullysaran have won the Division 2A league. They're up into senior football next year for the first time ever. So again, maybe the pressure's off here and they can go and enjoy this championship nearly.
It's hard to know. Like, the confidence will definitely be high regardless, so you would expect them to maybe play with a bit more freedom. It's hard to say, but I know just from us winning the league, like there's that wee bit of pressure off, let's go and play football sort of thing, so I would say Tullysaran probably in the same frame of mind.
And they've so many attacking options. I suppose Mark McKeever's the one that stands out, and he's been probably their top scorer all year. He has been the last couple of years, himself and Gavin Conlon, Eddie Mullen, they've a lot of attacking threats.
Probably Mark will probably from a personal point of view be looking to show well in the championship, to push on maybe for Armagh next year possibly, because he the talent's definitely there, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs throughout the championship. Obviously he's a big player for them, so it'll be really good to see him show well. And
Ciaron O'Hanlon's obviously benefit from the county men coming back. Probably a wee bit too late for the league. They ended up getting relegated down to Division 2B, but they've Kieran Mackin's obviously out injured, but they'll have Conor Mackin and Greg McCabe coming back in, and that's such a huge boost for them and going into the championship.
They're core players of that group, and they'll definitely be welcomed back with open arms, I would say. Two main footballers for them, so that'll be a big plus for Ciaron O'Hanlon's getting them back for the championship, absolutely. And
with both Tones then and Clonard in seconds. Tones just missed out on promotion for the second year in a row, and they're heading into the championship. They got to the semi-final last year. They'll be looking to go one better, and I suppose Clonard in seconds, just the nature of a seconds team, it could be a surprise of who, they got to the semi-final last year as well, and maybe teams just don't know that much about them.
Yeah, look, mentioned there when we were talking about Clonard in the senior championship, they have such a strong squad. Their second, have such a strong squad, so they'll be looking to go for it as well, because there's definitely players who maybe are in there thinking, I'm good enough to play a senior here. I'm gonna show well here and hopefully get called up then. So there's that element to it as well. Wolf Tones, they're obviously playing with a wee bit of consistency, so that might stand to them coming into the championship. Yep, definitely.
And with Group 3 then, with St Paul's, Billick, Grange and Allochmore, and this is a really tough group to call, I think, because again we have so much county standard across all these games, and we'll start with St Paul's because I suppose we always focus on Andrew Mernon when we're talking about St Paul's, because he's just such a big player for them.
Yeah, huge. And for me, St Paul's would probably be looking to go and push again for another final. So, having Andy there, who's had a decent year for Armagh, he's playing really consistently. He's a massive plus for them. They obviously have Owen McConville there as well, who has been in with Armagh this year. And that experience training at the top level, is going to stand by him going into the championship. So they're probably two massive players for them in their attacking threat. But overall as a team, they've been probably unlucky over the last couple of years in the championship, so they'll probably be geared up to go again. It's probably hard to do year after year, but that shows the sort of character that's in that group.
And when we come to Blake and Allochmore, probably the same story when we're talking about their county men in terms of Callum O'Neill and Tomas McCormick, that have been in round the squad for the last couple of years, but really they made their breakthroughs this year and had brilliant campaigns.
Yeah, both boys have established themselves as county players for the future, absolutely. And from an Armagh perspective, they'll probably go on and look to push on next year and try and cement a starting position. But now they're back with their clubs, they'll obviously, they'll be looking to put in good performance in the championship here for their respective teams, and they're obviously key players for their teams. So, yeah, both lads will want to have a good showing throughout the championship.
And then on the Grange, obviously, with Ethan probably playing in around the middle of the field, usually for Grange. A bit different for him than his role with Armagh.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what a man to have in around the middle of the field there, and working up and down it, he'll probably cover every blade of grass no matter where they're playing.
He's got many attributes, obviously. There's the 2 point score. You can kick off, freeze off the deck. Obviously he can get up for high ball. So he's massive for them. The Grange are a big physical team anyway, so I suppose the new rules with the ball having to go longer is going to suit them, and probably, we'll think within the group, we'll give this a good rattle this year, definitely.
And I think personally, and I'm going to say this, Group 4 is probably the group of death. With Sarsfields and Ballymacnabb both coming down from senior last year. With Diagnosis, they won Division 2B league, and with Tiernogue as well. So I'd probably take a bit of a step back here, Ciaron, and let you divulge this group and say whatever you want.
Look, there's definitely going to be some tough games within there. Diagnosis obviously won 2B. So, confidence is going to be high there. A bit of momentum going into the championship, and then outside of that, you've got Sarsfields, who have played really well this year. Some really good performances. On the Nab, then not too sure if Rory's going to be back or not.
No comment. Don't think so. Don't think so.
Look, if he is, it's going to be a massive plus for Ballymacnabb. And I suppose Ballymacnabb probably fancy themselves to put in a good showing. Probably didn't have the best league campaign, but when it comes to championship, everything changes a wee bit, and Ballymacnabb, I would consider them a championship team, so they'll definitely be looking to stake a claim in the intermediate. And Tiernogue is a team probably I don't really know too much about, which is not a bad thing, because you can fly in under the radar, and teams love to be in that position of being underdog and and maybe teams not knowing too much about them. So I would say that again, with every team, they'll be looking to put in some good performances throughout the championship.
And before we wrap up, Ciaron, just I suppose at county level, we've seen the new rules and how exciting the All-Ireland series was. I suppose, are we expecting the new rules to have a big impact on the club championship? Obviously, you've played with them at club level this year, so what have you made of them playing them?
Initially thought never going to work during pre-season, but I suppose like a lot of people don't really like change, but whenever we got into it, yeah, look, they've changed the game, especially as a spectacle. We're getting tighter games. We're getting more talking points. As a journalist, I would say it's your dream. There's so much drama and stuff like that. So. And playing them then too, sure, you just have to look at some of our league games this year. They were won with the last kick of the ball, so that's what people want. They want excitement. They want games going down to the wire. So yeah, they've been a joy to play with.
And before we wrap up, intermediate winners, who do you think's going to come out on top?
Tough one. Fancy St Paul's to put in a good showing. But I like Tully Ciaron. I like the way they've went about winning this year. I would probably hedge them as an outside bet.
Okay, so that's our tips for the Intermediate Championship. We'll be back on Sunday evening. Hopefully we'll have another podcast and we'll wrap up all the senior, intermediate and junior action from the weekend. There's loads of games on Armagh TV as well. There's going to be 5 games streamed live, so keep an eye out on Armagh GA's social media channels to see what games are coming up this weekend. As usual, we'll be previewing everything with our podcasts, our previews, a few different articles, interviews, and we'll obviously be sending match reports in from all the games, or as many as we can. So make sure to follow us on all our social media pages, and we'll chat to everybody on Sunday with another podcast.